Hey, what is up, guys? It's your boy Kingdom Soldier, and I'm back again with another gameplay slash commentary. Why, oh why, do we love OpTic NadeShot? It is a question I've been asking myself. I was in a stream the other day. I was actually in Proofy stream. If you guys don't know who that is, he's a amazing player from Team Envious, touted as one of probably the top 5 players on the sticks right now, along with Scumpy and Fear John and I think Farico, Killa, or some of these other guys. But anyway, I was in his stream, and he looked over and he said to all of us on his stream, he said, "Up, there goes my viewers." And I was like, "What is he talking about?" So I went over to Twitter. I looked, and what I noticed at the top of Twitter was that OpTic NadeShot had just tweeted out that he was going to be streaming. And I went back to Proofy stream after looking at a couple other tweets. So this is about 3 minutes later. I went back to Proofy stream, and he had dropped 200 viewers. Then I went back and checked on NadeShot Stream from a browser that I opened up. And I was like, oh, okay, NadeShot Streaming. I was like, dang, dude's already pushing over 1,000 people. I went back to Proofy stream a few minutes later, and within 5 to 6 minutes, there was literally, I mean, people were just dropping off. It was just like you just kept seeing it update, and it was going down and going down. At about the 10-minute mark after NadeShot had said, I'm streaming, Proofy was down almost a little over 400 viewers. Now, to a person that only had a little less than 1,000, that's a lot. You know, he went from 900 something down to 500 something. And NadeShot, within that same 10 minutes, was over 3,000. He was pushing about 3,200. Now, you may be like, well, that's not a lot. For streaming, getting over 3,000 people to watch your stream is a lot. That's a big number. To put it in perspective, the highest we got during MLG Dallas was 32,000. And so when you got 3,000, 10% of the number of people that are watching all of these competitive teams play, watching you, and normally these days NadeShot's been averaging about 4,000. Now, I must admit that there was a part of me that wanted to go to NadeShot Stream as well, and it wasn't just because I'm a admitted OpTic gaming fan, because I like Team Envious as well. I really like Rambo as a player. I think that guy's great. I like Proofy because I get to learn how to use the M8 better, because Proofy uses the M8 a lot, and a lot of people are, using the FAL and all that kind of stuff, and so I like to watch Proof because I can learn how to use the M8 well. And anytime you can use a gun well that nobody else can use, you become one of those players that can get into the head and frustrate other teams. And so I want to know how to use the M8 well, and not just have to use the MSMC or PDW and all these weapons that everybody's using right now, select fire, FAL, even though you've probably seen that in one of my recent videos. And so I asked myself the question, what is it about NadeShot that makes him so likable? Yes, he helped start the OpTic Gaming competitive team back in 2010. If you didn't know that, it's the truth. He was actually asked by Hex, him and Merc, they started the team. NadeShot was there at the beginning. He was one of the first players on OpTic Gaming. Yes, he was one of the 4 players on OpTic that won COD XP for Modern Warfare 3 before the game ever came out in 2011, along with Big Timer and Merc and a guy named Vengeance, who we've never really heard of after that. But he won $100,000 himself in that tournament because they won $400,000. He took home $100,000. And so has he achieved some things? Of course. OpTic Gaming has won 9 of the 15 LAN tournaments they've been in the last few years. They're the winningest team in COD. I mean, I can go on and go on and go on about achievements. NadeShot is one of the most decorated and has achieved more than most competitive players that are out right now. Even though it's like he's one of those guys that you look at and you just wonder, like, what is it that makes this guy so good? And I wanted to share my opinion with you guys as well as get your opinion. Like, what do you think is it that makes OpTic NadeShot so likable? I don't think that the fact that he played on the varsity golf team in high school has anything to do with it, or the fact that he worked at McDonald's and told stories about a crack addict that was like the boss's son. I mean, he's told some interesting stories over the years. He's done some amazing things. He is definitely the biggest proponent for competitive gaming, and has been. A little known fact that some of you might not know is that this book, let me see if you can see the spine of it, the orange and white. That's what normally people recognize as that orange and white spine. But this book, The Brady Guide to Call of Duty Black Ops 2, the competitive section in the back, NadeShot actually helped write this. Him, T-Mart, and Ernest Lee wrote it together, and there's a little blurb on him in the back where he gets to talk about the game. So he got to play Black Ops 2 before anybody. They got to play it for I think it was a solid week, and then they got to talk about all of the attachments and everything and how to use those things in multiplayer and what multiplayer was going to be like. And so, I mean, the guy's done a lot. I think personally for me, as I think about it, I think he's a likable guy. And what do I mean when I say that? I mean, he allows you to laugh at him, and he's comfortable with that. He'll make jokes about himself and be like, "Oh, I can't believe I did that," or whatever it is. And instead of raging and cussing, and there's not a lot of cursing and stuff like that on his channel when he streams. I'm not saying that there isn't any, especially if Scump's in the lobby with him. But there's not a lot of cussing. He's a very respectful guy. He's always saying good games to the other people that he's playing against. He works tirelessly and as hard as any other pro player out there, if not harder than any other pro player, to hone his craft. He could be streaming pub play, for the 6 to 10 hours that he streams a day, but he streams league play. And now it's to the point where people want to see that. He's getting way more views than any of these guys that are streaming like Swarms and Dogs and all this stuff. He's playing against the best players in the world and doing well with his friends and having fun, and we like to watch it. And so I think honestly that it's a more wholesome environment than most of the competitive Call of Duty streams or the public match streams that are out there for Call of Duty. And NadeShot, he's a young guy, and you almost feel happy for him. He picked up this Red Bull sponsorship. He's won all these tournaments, and he seems to be pretty humble. He's very thankful for his subscribers. He interacts with his subscribers in his stream a lot. People tell him in the stream to do stuff, and he actually responds to it. He doesn't just play and never looks at the screen. He participates, and I think he's a great player. I think he's a great guy. I do know that OpTic Gaming is like the Miami Heat of competitive Call of Duty, and so there's this desire to be against them. But I like OpTic NadeShot. That's my opinion. But I want to know from you guys, what is it that makes this guy so likable? What is it about OpTic NadeShot that makes it so that 4,000 people, the minute they see that he's streaming, they jump on Twitch and just start watching, and they're glued to the screen? His stream is just, it's like a chitter-chatter box. People are just talking to each other and talking to each other and talking to each other. And there's other competitive players that are great that stream, but for some reason, everybody wants to watch NadeShot, and you can watch everybody's views shrink the minute that he gets online. And I applaud him, for the stuff that he's done, the work that he's put into competitive Call of Duty, and I think that some of the benefits we're reaping this year are a result of NadeShot and Hastro and some of these other guys pushing Treyarch for competitive Call of Duty, and pushing MLG and Sundance Giovanni, pushing these guys for competitive Call of Duty. And so I'm thankful for a guy like NadeShot, and I like him. And just in case you guys are wondering, the headset update announcement will be tomorrow. I am moving, and so this may be the last video you see in this house. And if you guys have not checked out my last Team OC video, there's a clutch ace in there that is amazing because it's a clutch ace by Godly Disciple. But it's also amazing because of how the clutch ace begins and how the road we took to get to the clutch ace. It's worth the watch. I'm telling you, I promise you. It is worth the watch. This is your boy, Kingdom Soldier. I'll see you in the next video.